Week 31, Day 1. Choose sagely. Today, the paramount influence in the forming of public opinion is propaganda. It is not a heresy to our democratic beliefs to state that pressure groups play an important part in our lives. Propaganda makes one vulnerable to the influences of others. The prudent person will choose between cogent and specious propaganda efforts. While propaganda has the ostensible purpose of informing the public, the most fervid propagandists use methods that must be examined by the thoughtful citizen. The ability to distinguish the spurious from the true facts requires more than a perfunctory examination of prevalent propaganda efforts. Sample sentences. 1. His fervid appeal for action threw his adherents into a frenzy. 2. He accused the leader of the opposition of political heresy, and the mob was exhorted to burn his effigy. 3. In the bedlam that followed, it was not prudent to appear too apathetic. 4. While the ostensible enemy was the opposition leader, the main purpose of this rash behavior was the eradication of all opponents. 5. In the conflagration that followed, no one questioned whether the original charge had been spurious. Week 31, Day 2. A free society. In a free society, it is intrinsic that individuals and groups have the inherent right to propagate idea and try to win converts. We do not look upon an idea different from ours as an anomaly that should be precluded. Nor do we permit only innocuous or congenial beliefs and forbid those that we believe are dubious or spurious. In a country of competing pressures, we are accosted by a surfeit of propaganda that tends to overwhelm us. Thus, we live in a milieu of ubiquitous bombardment from countless, and often unrecognized, propagandists. Sample sentences. 1. I must inveigh against your attempt to propagate the belief that your political system will result in a panacea for all problems. 2. It is incongruous to find an abstemious person in a milieu of avarice and affluence. 3. Siamese twins are considered a birth anomaly. 4. There appears to be no such thing as an innocuous heresy. 5. When can we expect a respite from the surfeit of TV commercials? Week 31, Day 3. Who listens? As the quantity of propaganda becomes greater, ideas are presented in more strident tones in order to overcome the increased competition. Those who are the targets of the propaganda find it more difficult to discern between or analyze the new and expanded pressures. The concomitant situation that develops with the stepped-up propaganda is one in which the individual retreats into a state of lassitude. He has an aversion to all attempts to influence him. So we can see the intrinsic weakness inherent in an increased level of propaganda. It has the deleterious result of reducing its efficacy upon the individuals or groups who were its objective. Sample sentences. 1. There are many concomitant dangers to obesity. 2. Her strident voice added to the bedlam. 3. After the frenzy that accompanied the burning of the effigy, they were all acutely aware of a feeling of lassitude. 4. The gist of the report was that smoking will have a deleterious effect on health. 5. The efficacy of new drugs cannot be determined without a plethora of evidence. Week 31, Day 4. The people decide. The place of propaganda in a milieu that is not free differs from its place in an open society. In a dictatorship, there is no competing propaganda. Those who dissent from the official line may do so only in a clandestine manner. Where there is no open ferment of ideas, the possibility of discerning the true from the spurious is attenuated. In a democracy, the inevitable arbiter of what propaganda is to be permitted is the people. It is incumbent upon each citizen to choose between competing propagandas, while remaining cognizant of the value for a democracy in the existence of all points of view. Sample sentences. 1. It is incumbent on us to be zealous in combating the deleterious effects of drugs. 2. With each generation it becomes the vogue for the youth to be in a state of ferment. 3. The gist of his ominous suggestion was that we dissent from the majority opinion. 4. The strength of her appeal was attenuated by the flamboyant embellishments for which many had a strong aversion. 5. The Supreme Court is our ultimate arbiter of legality.